The Specialized Camber Comp Carbon is another 29er in trail bike of the year. And this is a bike that doesn't really feel like a 29er, and you really have to look at the wheels and tyres to work out that it actually is. It's got a carbon front end, and that's mated to their M5 alloy rear end, so it's a bit of a misnomer to call it a full carbon bike. Specialized carbon frames have two sort of handy little features that we quite like. The first is their SWAT down tube storage system. So what you have is a little door that hides underneath the bottle cage. Because the down tube is hollow, you might as well stuff things inside it. So you can carry those little bits and pieces with you, so they're always in the bike, so you're never going to forget them. Things like tubes, tools, patch kits, they can all sort of stuff in there and never be forgotten on a ride. It's quite handy, really. The other thing is their Autocycle feature, and this has been developed with the Fox shock. So instead of faffing around trying to find the sag point, you pump the shock up to 300 psi, sit on it, press a little button, and the shock automatically sags to 25%. From there you can play around with it to get your perfect setting, but basically it's kind of plug and play. As you'll know, Specialized are an absolutely massive company, and they have many in-house brands and components. For example, you've got their Rover wheels. On the Camber Comp, you've got their 29er alloy versions with 29mm internal width. This gives an incredible profile to the Specialized tyre combo that's also on the bike. What you also have is the Specialized Command Post IRCC. This is their latest dropper post. Instead of your infinite adjust, it has 3 main points, and then centered around the middle height are 10 little indentations which give a little bit extra control as to the exact position of the saddle. It's a really nice dropper post. It comes with a great sort of big lever under the bar, and it's one of our favourites out there. While many companies may spec a 34 or a RockShox Pike on their trail bike of the year bikes, Specialized have gone with the RockShox Revelation. It only has 120mm of travel with a solo air damper, so it's not the most advanced fork out there, but it still performs pretty well on this bike and gives the bike a light flickable feel. We've got the ever-capable 1x11 SRAM GX group set driving the bike, and then bringing it to a stop are the Shimano Dior brakes, which we're always happy to see on any trail bike because despite the fact that they're a more budget option, they perform really well. Finally, the rest of the spec is a largely Specialized in-house: bar, stem, saddle and grips. So I'm going to pass over to Guy Kestevan, who's going to tell you a little bit more about how the bike rides.
If there's ever a bike that has a guaranteed place in our Trail Bike of the Year lineup, and normally very near the top, it's Specialized Camber. Specialized is sticking rigidly to 29er as a wheel format, where a lot of brands seem to be wavering, and it's generally because they've got the format really well sorted. You've got the Enduro at the big hitting end, but for a lot of riders, Camber is just absolutely on point. Again, it's a bike that almost hides its talents at first. It can feel a little steep through the front end, and in this situation, the Revelation fork does feel flexy once you start really ploughing it into stuff. What you'll find though is that slightly steeper geometry gives it great presence and well-balanced manners when you're climbing, especially on hairpinny stuff that, you know, whether that's out in the south of France here or on trail centres back home. It also stops it having that kind of barge-like handling tendency that some 29ers can get. Specialized have got the rest of the bike totally sorted as well, regardless of wheel size. It uses a full carbon mainframe, which gets the very interesting new SWAT feature. You might look at it as something of a canoe spray deck novelty, but once you've lived with it for a few weeks and then a few months, it's actually a really useful feature. You'll end up with a load of stuff sitting in there quietly, out of the way, and in the right place of the bike to not upset the handling, rather than rattling around on your back pockets, or worse, you realise you've left your trail kit on the side at home just when you need to tighten something crucial up. Specialized kings of the complete bike experience as well, whether it's shoes, helmets, or just the fact that you can sit on the camber, pop the auto sag feature on the shock, and hey presto, the bike is pretty much where you'll want the suspension to be for almost every trail situation. There's no particular characteristic to pedaling or braking either, so you can just get on with the ride. Again, it's a bike you're not constantly looking down at, wondering how you're going to use it for the next section. It's a head up, where do I want to go? Do I want to do a big cross-country ride? Or do you want to, you know, make use of that dropper post and go and hit up the local red and, you know, even black trails once you've got used to the fork handling? It's such a versatile bike. It's light, it's efficient, it's great value. It's just always a fun, enjoyable, really user-friendly bike to have.
So So what Specialized have built then is an incredibly versatile machine. It's light and fast enough to almost trouble top-end cross-country race bikes, but on the way down you'll also be buzzing the tyre of more enduro-focused bikes because it really is capable when you're pointing it down the hill. So we're covering 12 of our favourite Trail Bike of the Year bikes in this video series. But if you really want to know what the winner is straight away, then you can go and purchase What Mountain Bike issue 186. It's on sale now and you can find links for Android and iOS in the description below.